The mystical truths in religions East and West are brought to light again and made relevant for our time by Elizabeth Clare Prophet, world-renowned author and spiritual teacher.
Why is the Keeper's Daily Prayer such an important part of the ritual of Mother Mary's scriptural rosary?
The Keeper's Daily Prayer is a universal creed which may be pronounced by men of all religions. It actually defines the identity of the Son or the daughter of God as a flame. As the Apostles' Creed provided the theme for the Christian dispensation, this prayer is a declaration of faith that can be made in the new age by sons and daughters of God wherever they may be, whether in this world or beyond the Milky Way. For it centers the consciousness in the flame of God and does not bind the soul to man-made doctrine or time-worn dogma. Just listen. It begins with our identity as a flame. This is our essence. We are flaming sons and daughters of God, and so we affirm, a flame is active, a flame is vital, a flame is eternal. There we meditate on the concept that we are active, lively spirit sparks. We are vital and we are eternal. Then we affirm, I am a God flame of radiant love from the very heart of God in the great central sun, descending from the Master of life. Whenever we use the name, I am, we are saying, God in me is. I am is the name of God. I am is the word that we use to release his sacred fire energy. And therefore to say, I am a God flame, we are saying, God in me is a God flame. Right where I am this radiance of love. And I come from the great central sun. I come from the white fire core that is the center of a cosmos. And I am descending from the Master of life who is God. This sense of identity, this sense of origin must be had by all people. Everyone wants to know where they came from. And when we finally trace our ancestry back to a beginning, we know the lineage of the human descent, but our soul longs for something more, and this is the prayer that gives it. Now we affirm, I am charged now with beloved Helios and Vesta's supreme God consciousness and solar awareness. We are saying, God in me is charging me now with Helios and Vesta's awareness of God. Helios and Vesta are the masculine and feminine polarity of God, holding the flame in the sun behind the sun in the center of this solar system. Every solar system, every galaxy has a focalization of the Father, Mother God personified in a son and a daughter who are twin flames and whose consciousness has evolved to that place where they include in their own self-awareness an entire solar system and all of its evolutions. Thus, the ensouling light of our physical sun comes from a consciousness in that point that we call the sun behind the sun. And so in this prayer we meditate upon that Father, Mother, God flame that nourishes life in our system of worlds. We say, Pilgrim upon earth, I am walking daily the way of the ascended Master's victory. And so we see ourselves as the soul on earth, in earth's schoolroom, walking the way of the ascended Master's victory. This is the way of the Christ, the way of the Buddha, and the way of the Mother. That way is a path of initiation. It's part of the great drama, moving from a point of origin, the point of Alpha, to the point of the conclusion, the point of Omega. We traverse those cycles that are necessary for the alchemy of the redemption that must precede the resurrection and then the ascension. This way leads to my eternal freedom by the power of the sacred fire, this day and always, continually made manifest in my thoughts, feelings, and immediate awareness, transcending and transmuting all the elements of earth within my four lower bodies, and freeing me by the power of the sacred fire from those misqualified foci of energy within my being. Our listeners who have the mystical awareness of the God within will hear in this prayer actually a formula, a chemical formula for the translation or the transmutation of the elements. And this law we affirm is active and activated by the flame of God within us by our giving of this prayer. The confirmation of that law by the Word activates the process of that law within us each day. This is an interesting point on the science of the spoken word. The science of the spoken word, when used, activates the alchemy of God, the process of God within us. So we affirm, I am set free right now from all that binds, by and through the currents of the divine flame of the sacred fire itself, whose ascending action makes me God in manifestation, God in action, God by direction, and God in consciousness. When we say, I am set free right now from all that binds, we are saying, God in me is setting me free. We're affirming it, we're invoking it, we're decreeing it, and our fiat is one with the Elohim. And we're saying that the sacred fire has an ascending action, making me right where I am, the manifestation of God, the action of God, the direction of God, and the consciousness of God. Fourfold being, right in line with the ancient alchemists who referred to the fourfold nature of man as fire, air, water, and earth. Alchemy is the key whereby we move from the planes of matter to the planes of spirit, and this prayer is an alchemical formula for the Aquarian age man and woman, and even children love this prayer. This is how it continues. I am an active flame. I am a vital flame. I am an eternal flame. I am an expanding fire spark from the great central sun, drawing to me now every ray of divine energy which I need, and which can never be requalified by the human, and flooding me with the light and God illumination of 1,000 suns, to take dominion and rule supreme forever, everywhere I am, everywhere God is. Now the affirmation of being as this fire, as Moses taught us, as Paul taught us, our God is a consuming fire. We then see that the qualities of this fire enable us to put on the consciousness of God. The flame is a magnet. It draws to us every erg of energy that we need to perform our perfect service. And in the decree, we affirm that because this energy is God's, it cannot be requalified by our human consciousness. We must make that decree because often we are tempted to qualify God's energy with our human will and with hatred and with fear and anxiety. Then we affirm, where I am, there God is also. Unseparated forever I remain, increasing my light by the smile of His radiance, the fullness of His love, the omniscience of His wisdom, and the power of His life eternal, which automatically raises me on ascension's wings of victory, that shall return me to the heart of God, from whence in truth I am come to do God's will, and manifest abundant life to all. Doug, I think the most sacred gift that Mother Mary has given to us is the understanding that where I am, there God is also. Right inside of me, right inside of my heart. He is there, but in order for Him to act, I must meditate upon Him. I must enter into the ritual of His alchemy. I must make every step be His step, and every walk His walk.
What's the outcome of this ritual that you described?
It's new consciousness. It's new life. It's a joy that is indescribable.
If we're denied the ritual, are we denied the outcome of the ritual?
Precisely. This is why the fallen ones have entered into the churches, into the governments, the economies of the nation, stripped us of the great ritual drama of life, which is the process that is so necessary. It's that old instant pudding, 1, 2, 3 formula, and you've got salvation. It deprives us of the entire path of overcoming and working toward a goal. It destroys initiative and leaves us absolutely impotent as sons and daughters of God.
So there is no salvation made easy course.
There's no instant pudding at the altar of God. It's a working out of your salvation with fear and trembling, and that fear is the tremendous awe of the Almighty and of His power and what this power can do if we misuse it. Every Son of God has shown us by His life the ritual of becoming one with God. You have only to read the life of Mohandas Gandhi and to discover the great ritual drama of this soul moving from childhood closer and closer to God until so much of God is in him that he can move all of the people of India into one united effort for independence. You take Gandhi on his salt march. He said he didn't even know when he started walking that he was going to walk to the sea. It was just a gathering momentum. He went from village to village, and more people were following him. And he took and spooned that water out of the sea, and he said, this is going to be our salt. We do not have to have the salt imported. Thus declaring the independence of the soul to forge its own God identity without the superpowers governing it and controlling it, dominating it, until it becomes a vegetable.
This is the true meaning of destiny, then, is it not?
Destiny is deity established in you. That is the meaning of the letters in the word destiny. Destiny is a process, it's a ritual, whereby we begin with an opportunity given to us by God. By free will, we choose to become that opportunity, and working the works of God daily and letting the Father work through us, we fulfill our destiny as one with the immortals, as sons and daughters of God, reuniting with him in the ritual, the glorious ritual of the ascension.
What's the ascension?
The ascension is the acceleration of consciousness by the ritual of the sacred fire, whereby we move from the lesser self to the greater self and find ourselves one with God, hence one with eternal life. The ascension is our destiny. It is the goal of life, and it has been proven by the ascended masters who are releasing to us these teachings in this hour.
Thank you very much.
This is a presentation of the Summit Lighthouse, an international spiritual organization dedicated to universal enlightenment. Founded in 1958, the Summit Lighthouse is a beacon of truth to thousands worldwide and a leader in New Thought spirituality.